Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddham dhammang sanghang namassami. Dear friends, welcome to this Tuesday night Dhamma and meditation program with the Dhamma Darayini Sangha. We're continuing on the themes related to the cultivation of boundless compassion, the cultivation of compassion and emptiness together. Tonight, I'm setting up not the type of way that this is expressed in many of the main suttas in the four Nikayas, but a way that it's expressed in some of the little bit later texts, and something that's just much more developed in the commentarial tradition. And that is the idea of cultivating loving kindness and compassion towards specific individuals as a way of comparison. And then with the idea that like that, one would develop this state of mind towards all beings without any distinction about what kind of being they are. Famously in the Karaniyamatha Sutta, in the Sutta Nipata, and the Kudikapata, the teaching what should be done by one who is skilled in goodness, it gives that analogy like a mother would risk her life for her only child. So one would develop a boundless heart of kindness for all beings, for the entire world. There's another occasion where something very much like that is expressed in connection to compassion. It's just like if you met somebody who was suffering in misery, you would naturally wish for them to escape from that misery. Then just so, like that, one develops compassion for all beings everywhere in the world without any limitations, no matter what type of being they are. We wish for them to come to the end of dukkha, to the end of suffering. There's a few other things we know about this encounter of specific compassion with boundless compassion. The Buddha expressed his compassion by pointing out and explaining the Dhamma, which leads to the end of suffering. And he strongly counseled his disciples in the monastic Sangha to also point out and explain the Dhamma as being the most important expression of compassion for the whole world. We also see by the example of so many suttas how the Buddha responded in a specific way, giving the particular type of teaching that would be liberated for a particular individual or a particular group of individuals at a particular situation. So with his skill, he crafted the teaching to meet the situation. One very inspiring example of that would be the first teaching of the, what's said to be the first, I don't know if it's really the first, but the teaching of the Anapana Sutta, the Sutta on mindfulness of breathing, which was said to be at the end of a very powerful gathering throughout the Vasa, where many bhikkhus were practicing at a very high level, and where the senior bhikkhus were teaching the junior bhikkhus a whole variety of different ways of practice and levels of practice. And then the meditation was going so well that at the end of the Vasa, the Buddha declared that he would extend his time for one more month. So they got a special extra 1 month of the Vasa. And that meant that bhikkhus from all over the country who had been staying at various places, who had not had the chance to be sitting with the Buddha throughout the Vasa, they had a chance in the 4th month to travel and to come together. So there was this great assembly of bhikkhus, including those who were enlightened and those who were not yet enlightened. And then on that occasion, he taught the Anapanasati Sutta, the breath meditation. So there was something that was very unique and distinctive about the moment that allowed that teaching to really sink in, to really go to the heart. There's another way in which the compassion of the Buddha in giving the Dhamma is boundless. And it's kind of like there's a way that a person can be good that's limited, that's a kind of a quid pro quo. I'll be good to you and you'll be good to me. If you are miserable and I can help you, then afterwards you can be grateful to me. Or if you are my only baby and I love you so much, then later on when I become old and senile, then you can love me. I'll give you an example of a teaching, a story that's this is about how that quid pro quo kind of kindness is the evil twin of boundless loving kindness. There's a particular Brahmin named Dhananjani, and he's speaking with Sariputta, and Sariputta asks him if he's diligent, if he's practicing appamada, being heedful or being diligent, being careful. And then Anjani says, how can I possibly be diligent? Sariputta, I have to provide for my mother and father, my wives and children, my bond servants and workers. I have to make proper offering to friends and colleagues, relatives and kins, guests, ancestors, deities, and the king. And then this body must also be fattened and built up. So how could I possibly be diligent? And Sariputta teaches him, well, suppose somebody was to behave in a way that was unprincipled and unjust for the sake of their parents. Would they be aiming for heavenly existence, or are they going deeper towards a hellish existence? And the same way for each one of these people, if you would be unjust or do a wrong thing for the sake of your wives and your children and your bondservants and workers, friends and colleagues, kins, guests, ancestors, deities, for the sake of the government, or even, you could say, what happens also often today is if people have to work in jobs, very often your employer might ask you to cut corners with your ethics for success in business, and so for the sake of your employer. So how can I, so this is not, it's not kindness, cutting corners, because of the sense of being caught up in a web of obligations. If one is so busy doing social work to help the world, if one is so busy trying to work in the field of politics to bring justice to the world, if one is so busy trying to take care for the happiness and safety of one's own family and relatives, that you don't have enough time to take care of your own self, beginning with taking care of your own sila, without beginning to having time to take care of the purity of your own heart, then you've lost the game completely. And in that sutta, the Buddha says, one should be heedful for the sake of your parents. You should be heedful for the sake of your wives and children. One should be heedful for the sake of all of these others, and so that one is acting in a way which is pure and just. Taking care of oneself, you take care of others. Taking care of oneself, you take care of all. In the meditation that we're going to go into now, I'm going to read you the passage from the Paṭisambhidāmagga, which is a canonical text, although it's a late canonical text. It's part of the Pali Canon. And I'd like to welcome each of you to direct the thought of compassion in particular for all of these different kinds of people. And the particular expression of compassion is, may they be free from hatred, free from ill will, untroubled, and may their happiness be protected. So right here, this very common, you've heard this many times. If I had a beautiful voice, I could chant it with the musical version of this. But Avera Hontu, Abhyapaja Hontu, Aniga Hontu, Sukhi Atanam Pariharantu. Right here in this beautiful expression of compassion is acknowledging the trouble by visualizing for all of these individuals to be free of trouble, including one's own self. Acknowledging dislike and anger, and giving the wish for all the beings, including oneself, to be free of anger. Acknowledging that hatred is a real thing, and giving the universal wish, may they be free of hatred. So just like if you had a good friend, someone you actually cared about, and they were suffering in misery because they've fallen into a pattern of hatred, wouldn't you, depending on your inclination, wouldn't you pray for them to come out of it? Wouldn't you wish for them to come out of it? Wouldn't you dedicate the merits of your practice? Oh, just let my dear one come out of this hateful state. And so, just that same way, thinking about each one of these different persons, let them come out of that hateful state, let them come out of that troubled state. Let them be free and protected from those troubles. And then eventually, there's a kind of an accumulation, and the details fall away, and it just becomes a wish which has that boundless quality, which is no longer focusing on the particulars of each individual. It's just a general state, the inclination, the wish for all to be free of anger, free of hatred, free of trouble. But with that mind, if you encounter any being whatsoever, including a being that you might remember, or an actual person that you might encounter, or including your own dear self, that boundless state encounters the specific of the moment, and then the compassion is right there. It's fully there. It's fully there, both in the boundless state for all, and it's also there in each specific moment. So we can come to an upright and balanced posture, getting ready for meditation. Aware of the posture of the body. Aware of the material body resting on the cushion. Arranging the legs and the hands and the back in a way that's balanced, upright, and comfortable. feeling the uplifting energy of the breath and the uprightness of the posture. Sensitive to the body, sensitive to the sensations coming in. Aware of the feelings. Aware of the state of mind. And thinking, may I be free from hatred. May I be free from ill will. May I be free from trouble. May I take care of myself and be happy. Bringing to mind mother and father, teachers, relatives, friends, companions in the holy life. May each of them be free from hatred. Free from ill will. free from trouble. May they take care of themselves and be happy. Bringing to mind everyone here in this group. May each of them be free of hatred, free of oppression, free from trouble. May they care for themselves and be happy. Here in this monastery and wherever you are, may all bhikkhus and bhikkhunis, laymen and laywomen, be free from hatred, free from oppression, free from ill will, free from trouble. May they all take care of themselves and be happy. May our supporters, who give us the requisites of life, may they be free from hatred, free from ill will, free from trouble. May they take care of themselves and be happy. May our protective gods, angels or spirits who are nearby in our own dwelling place, may the protective gods, angels or spirits in this monastery be free from hatred, free from ill will, free from trouble. May they take care of themselves and be happy. May all creatures, all breathing creatures, all beings, all persons, all individuals, all women, all men, all those who are noble, all those who are not noble, all gods, all human beings, all who have fallen to a lower world. May all of them be free from hatred, free from ill will, free from trouble. May they take care of themselves and be happy. May they be free from suffering. They are the owners of their actions. May they not lose whatever wealth they have gained. In the eastern direction, in the western direction, in the northern direction, in the southern direction, in the southeastern direction, in the northwest direction, in the northeast direction, in the southwest direction. In the lower direction. In the upper direction. May all creatures, all breathing creatures, all beings, all persons, all individuals, all women, all men, all those who are noble, all those who are not yet noble, all gods, all humans, all have fallen in the lower realm. May all of them be free from hatred, free from oppression, free from trouble. May they take care of themselves and be happy. Dukkha muchantu. May they be free from suffering. Being ones who own their actions. May they not lose whatever wealth they have gained. From the top of existence down, from the lowest hell realm up, everywhere in the universe, whatever beings live on earth, may they be free from hatred, free from suffering, free from ill will, free from danger. From the top of existence down, from the lowest hell up, everywhere in the universe, whatever beings live in the water, may they be free from ill will, free from hatred, free from suffering, free from danger. From the top of existence down, from the lowest hell up, everywhere in the universe, whatever beings live in the sky, may they be free from ill will, free from hatred, free from suffering, free from danger. And coming back around to the wish for our own true happiness. By the practice of this Dhamma, in accord with the Dhamma, I venerate the Buddha. By this practice of Dhamma, in accord with the Dhamma, I venerate the Dhamma. By this practice of Dhamma, in accord with the Dhamma, I venerate the Sangha. By this practice of Dhamma, in accord with the Dhamma, I venerate my parents. By this practice of Dhamma, in accord with the Dhamma, I venerate my teachers. By this practice, may I be freed from old age and death. May my merit bring about the destruction of the asavas, of the taints. May my virtue be a condition for gaining knowledge of path and fruit. May we give a share of our merits to all beings. May all beings be happy. I very frequently see the wonderful quality of this Dhamma and the way that the Buddha has taught us, that he so often begins with things that are so natural, so normal, so connected with our ordinary experience of life and way of existence, that it's very easy to understand that starting point. Certain parts of the teaching are so natural, even a small child can understand them. And then the magic of the way that the Buddha teaches these pathways that he gives enable us to take the starting point, take what we naturally possess, the natural capacity for kindness and compassion that we already possess, and then to refine, develop, cultivate, and purify that until all of the opposite habit patterns or the opposite tendencies would eventually become so weak and so inconsequential that they would never block us from being able to hold and practice true compassion and true kindness. And in that way, when the opposite tendencies are wiped out, that's when the compassion and kindness become boundless, because there's nothing to oppose them. There's no limitation. Even taking this sutta, in fact, here I'll do something for you. I'm going into the chat now. And I'm giving you the link for the particular version of this teaching that I was reading from. This was translated by our friend Bhikkhu Ananda Jyoti. He's a wonderful servant of the Dhamma who has served by publishing so much very clear, helpful, and useful Dhamma material that's translated by him, also with a connection to the Pali, and with showing how it's situated in the context of the Buddhist teachings. So you might find this all of the details of this sutta to be like too much, too busy, too distracting, to be remembering all these different categories and all the different directions and all the different venues. But then, on the other hand, there's a certain way of sort of being able to be calm and still, and to allow these beautiful words to flow over one's mind, and to allow them to condition the state of mind. If you had a good memory, you could memorize it, and then as you recite it to yourself, when something is very well memorized, you don't necessarily remember all the paragraphs all at one time. It's like the next sentence comes up to you, and somehow the mind has got there's sort of like a link in the mind, and after reciting to yourself one sentence, then the next sentence it's like the next sentence like emerges to awareness, and then you recite that sentence, and then the sentence after that emerges into awareness. And so there's a very beautiful way that if a person is able to memorize suttas, that then it's like you've got your own device inside your head that is able to be feeding these teachings to you. Or if you're not able to memorize it, one can listen, find a recording, and listen. Or if you don't find a recording, you could read it. But reading and pondering, allowing all of the diversity of the details of this reflection eventually to disappear and to become a boundless general idea. I will invite any comments or reflections that anybody has if they've worked with this particular meditation, or if you have any questions about this teaching. So compassion is not getting upset about the suffering in the world. Compassion is not getting upset about the evil and unskillful qualities of beings in the world. Compassion does have a special skill. It has the skill of knowing how suffering comes to an end. It has the skill of knowing how those poison, toxic, evil tendencies are able to be abandoned, are able to disappear. It has the skill of knowing how those negative things don't have to be picked up again. And if one realizes, or to whatever extent, obviously if we were a Buddha, we would have all of those things, the perfect skill, the perfect ability to know how, in a universal way and in any specific way, how it may be possible for beings to come out of suffering, how it may be possible for beings to truly abandon and become completely free from the cause of suffering, that all the obstacles to happiness would be possible to disappear. But to some extent we've learned it, because we've been practicing the Dhamma in accord with the Dhamma. We've been practicing these teachings as they're given to us by our teacher. And so to some extent, we've got a clue, we understand. And then to whatever extent that's true for us, that we know the way, then to that very extent, we don't need to be disturbed or upset by dukkha, by suffering, because we know that we're not trapped in it. We know that we do not have to be overwhelmed by the inner taints or afflictions that perpetuate suffering. We don't have to stay there. We know that. If we have confidence in the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, we know that by this practice of Dhamma, it is possible to come out of that. And that thought is kind of a object of contemplation that helps us to escape from those disturbances. So we can escape from anxiety. We can escape from dislike. We can escape from hatred. We can escape from ill will. Yeah, there's a comment in the chat. When virtue becomes so strong, the path will automatically want to push you away from unwholesomeness. Yes, that's it. And then you don't have to make so much effort because you have the path. When you possess the path, then it will the freedom will come about. I see people are very quiet today, and that's great for me because I'm on retreat. Or not completely on retreat, but I'm getting close to being fully engaged in winter retreat, and I'm happy to see you all. I wish that each one of you will fully realize, according to your karma and your abilities, that you will make progress on the path, and that your suffering will be reduced, and that later on it will disappear altogether. The Lord, the perfectly enlightened and blessed one, I render homage to the Buddha, the Blessed One. The teachings so completely explained by him, I bow to the Dhamma. The Blessed One's disciples who have practiced well, I bow to the Sangha. Thank you, everyone, for your patient listening and for your practice today.
Thank you, Ayya.